يقول عز من قائل وما توفيقي إلا بالله عليه توكلت. My success or my ability to achieve my goal only comes through Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. On Him I rely and to Him I return. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reminds us in this verse that any success that we have can only come through Him. We can try, we can exert effort, but He is the one who controls the result. You may work with the best of your intention, but the result is with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is a reminder to all of us when we have moments of success and we start to feel a certain sense of euphoria that I've done something good, something praiseworthy, that success came from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Do not let that success go to your head and think that you've succeeded because you are more special than your brother. And when you have an apparent failure, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is putting you through an experience. It is not up for other people to decide or to judge. But the good Muslim is the one who reaches out. They see somebody in need or somebody who may be experiencing an apparent failure or a fall, and that is the protection that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give them. This is their insurance policy with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that when they reach out to their brothers and sisters and provide assistance, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will provide them. According to the hadith of our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, if you see somebody in need of help and you're able to give that help and you don't give it, then the day when you are in need, you will not find someone to give you that help. You see, your brothers and sisters, when you achieve something, remember that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the cause of your success. He is the one who enabled you to make that achievement. Do not let it get to your head. Do not feel a sense of pride or arrogance. Remember the warning in the hadith of our Prophet ﷺ, the hadith Qudsi, where he says that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that pride is my cloak and greatness is my lower garment. Anyone who competes with me for these things, for any of those things, I will throw him in the fire. Greatness belongs to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. For us, we have to remember that we are all equal. We are all children of Adam. We are all equal, and we should be grateful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for the experiences that He exposes us to, whether they are happy or whether they are unhappy experiences. Part of this warning, my dear brothers, is not to be amazed at yourself. Because any time that we fall into the trap of feeling amazed at something that we've achieved, then we are setting ourselves for a fall. We set ourselves for a fall to remind us that we are human beings and that our success comes from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Becoming amazed at your achievement can also be a form of shirk. That one looks at himself and says, look how good I am, look what I've done, look what I've achieved. Forgetting that these achievements are through the blessing of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Getting amazed at oneself also opens a door for shaitan to make a person feel that he's better than other people, comparing his success with the success of others. And remember, what brought shaitan down is when he said to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, I'm better than he. Remember that doing something to a better standard or appearing better is only a temporary condition that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala exposes us to as part of our test. Will we be grateful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, or will we become arrogant? Will we follow the footsteps of shaitan and feel that we are better than our brothers? Or will we humble ourselves to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and employ this success for the common good? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala warns the believers, or reminds the believers, when they were standing alongside the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam at the Battle of Hunayn, when they looked at their numbers and they thought that there's so many of us that we cannot be defeated for lack of numbers. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reminds them, on the day of Hunayn, when you were so impressed with your plentiful numbers, but these numbers did not really prevent the initial loss in the battle. Initially they started to lose and they started to retreat, till the Prophet ﷺ appealed to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and called on and reminded all his companions that he is the messenger of Allah. And those who came to their senses rallied around him, and through humility to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that defeat was changed into a victory. Never be amazed, but be amazed at the blessings of Allah that He has put in you, that He has given you, that He has bestowed upon you. Do not be amazed or impressed by yourself but be grateful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also criticizes the non-believers. When they start to put all their faith in material power, He says, do they think that their forts and their castles will protect them from the decree of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can bring them defeat from where they don't expect. He can come to them from where they don't expect or don't realize. Do not be impressed with the things you have, but rely on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now, Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam warned us about a time that our community will reach a time. He says 3 things that he made warning about in this particular hadith. When people look at a wealthy person and they start to try to appease that person only because of his wealth, hoping to get some wealth, and that person may be miserly and gives them nothing, that they obey him because of what he has. He warned us against a time when people start following their whims and desires, just like the slogan of one particular sporting wear company that says, just do it, just following your whims and desires. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has warned us about following whims and desires, about doing what we just feel like. He warned us through the words of His Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, through this hadith, warned us that this will be a bad time for the believers when you just do what you feel like, when you just act spontaneously, that some whims come into your mind and you just pursue some fleeting pleasure because you feel like doing it. And the third one, which is related to the topic of today, he warned us about a time when people start becoming impressed with themselves. When a person starts to be impressed with themselves as if the achievements that they have or the wealth that they've been given is a result of their own genius, and as if it is not from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. In another hadith, our Prophet ﷺ emphasizes this point. He says, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, a person might be walking about wearing some nice clothes, a turban, a nice turban, amazed at himself, really impressed with himself. He might find that Allah might crack the earth from under him, letting him fall through, with his body hitting side to side in this crack that happens in the earth. His body keeps falling until the day of judgment. This is the danger of being arrogant and being over-impressed with oneself. Ibn Mas'ud radiallahu anhu, adding to this, or explaining this further, he said the destruction of people comes in 2 things. Either feelings of despair, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala warns us against despair. He says, do not despair of the mercy of Allah. And the second thing that can bring destruction to people, he said, being amazed at oneself, being too impressed with it. And Imam Ghazali, he explained this point further. He said, happiness can be found in striving, in pursuing the things that are serious and beneficial, in rolling up your sleeves and getting ready to work. He said, however, a person in despair does not strive. He does not follow serious pursuits. And the person who is amazed at himself, he thinks, or impressed with himself, thinks that he is happy and has achieved his goals, so he does not strive. And continuing on this point of being impressed with oneself, one of our scholars said, I would rather sleep my night and wake up regretful and feeling sorry, instead of spending my night in tahajjud prayer and waking up feeling too impressed with myself that I've achieved something. As important as tahajjud is, and I plead with everyone to perform tahajjud, to feel closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, pray your nightly prayers, but be careful not to become impressed with yourself. If you do these extra prayers, you're a guest of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and He's given you a chance. And for that chance to continue, humble yourself and be grateful to Him for allowing you to stand before Him in the middle of the night while other people are asleep. And be thankful to Him and be grateful to Him. And part of your thankfulness is to pray for your brothers who are missing on this opportunity, and ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make it easy for them to wake up in the middle of the night and pray tahajjud. And I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make it easy for us, to help us, to guide us, to get up in the middle of the night and to put ourselves between His hands and to appeal to Him and to plead with Him, so that He can improve our conditions, improve the condition of the whole ummah, inshaAllah. My dear brothers, there are so many stories from our scholars, our predecessors, our righteous predecessors, that warn against being too impressed with yourself. In one story, Bishr ibn Mansur was a righteous person who was known for his righteousness and devotion to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He used to pray long prayers, reciting long surah, and used to love spending his time between the hands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and praying to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. On one occasion, he noticed that when he finished his prayer, he noticed that a person had been observing him. He turned to that person and he said, "My brother, do not be impressed with my prayer." He said, "You know that the shaitan worshipped Allah for a lot longer than this. And you saw what the destiny of the shaitan was just in that moment of arrogance. Do not think that I'm better than anybody else for praying, for extending my prayer. Just to impress upon himself and on others that I'm not better than you. That I'm grateful to Allah for allowing me to stand between His hands for these prayers. But this does not make me feel better than anybody else. Instead, it makes me humble myself further between the hands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala." Our mother Aisha radiallahu anha was asked a question: when is a person wrong? Or when is a person in the wrong? A general question, a philosophical question, almost like a theoretical question. And she said, when that person thinks that he is excelling. Meaning when that person is so impressed with himself that he thinks he's doing everything beautifully. Yeah, you should try. Yes, you should try to do everything to excellence. But never fall in the trap of being so impressed with yourself. Imam Ali radiallahu anhu said, being too impressed with yourself negates the good work. Negates means wipes away the good work. And it's a serious disease of the heart to be too impressed with yourself. And my dear brothers, you see people so envious of the blessings that you have. One of our scholars said, humility, being humble, is a blessing that is not necessarily so noticed by people, and they're not going to envy you about your humility. My dear brothers and sisters, I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to forgive me and to forgive you. Let's all appeal to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for forgiveness. He is the most forgiving, the most merciful. My dear brothers and sisters, I remind myself first, and then I remind you to have taqwa of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. To always know with certainty that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows every thought that crosses your mind. He can hear every word that you say, and He can see everything that you do. And He knows why you said or did what you said and did. There are no excuses. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows your exact motivation. You can't talk your way out of it and lie to Him. None of us can. He knows exactly why you said or did what you said and did. My dear brothers and sisters, there are issues that confront our community, not only locally, but all over the world. This week, there was a visit from a Prime Minister of a country that has been oppressing our brothers and sisters for many decades. Has taken over their land and has been oppressing them. And this person, and I apologise for talking politics, but sometimes it's better to know, to understand what is happening around us. This person only visits other countries in order to get something, to get some concessions, to get some support, to continue to push his own politics and his own agendas. And this is the nature of all politicians. In this climate, of course, we have our issues. There's been protests in the streets in relation to that person. And our community also was involved and put its case forward as to how we can influence that particular country to improve peace in the Middle East. In the process, of course, you see elements in society trying to find fault with our Quran. And the Quran is the words of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, And each and every one of us must stand by every word, by every letter of the Quran. There is no letter that any of us can change. The moment that any of us feels that you want to change any word or any letter, then you risk falling outside Islam. The words of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will not change with time or place. They will continue forever. Those religions that have succumbed to pressure and changed the words in their holy books have now transformed into religions that only have some ceremonies but have lost much of their substance. They kept changing so many things until the essence of their religion was lost. And instead of benefiting from the subsequent prophets and messengers, of course, they ended up divided and ended up in different schisms and different religions instead of maintaining the guidance of Allah and following our Prophet ﷺ. There are words in the Quran that from time to time society cannot understand or do not want to accept. But the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala explains itself. And we don't always need to explain it to people. And sometimes when we explain it, maybe that some people will understand and benefit, and some people will not understand and benefit. As for me, I made an attempt to explain a verse from the Quran this week, and to my disappointment, I found many members of our Muslim community acting as if that whole verse should be removed from the Holy Quran. You know, in the middle of the persecution in Mecca, in the middle of the persecution where Muslims were subjected to so much hardship, our Prophet ﷺ used to ask, who amongst the Sahaba would stand up and recite the Quran next to the Kaaba? Who amongst you would stand up and recite the Quran next to the Kaaba? It got to the point where the unbelievers were so afraid of the effect of the words of the Quran that they would warn people, do not listen to them, they will bewitch you. And yet they would go and listen to these words at night because they found the beauty and the wisdom in these words. Our Quran is our Quran. We don't change any letter or any word from it. But our Quran explains itself. And the hadith of our Prophet ﷺ shows us how to implement the Holy Quran. The verse to which I'm referring is the verse in Surah An-Nisa that has the word hitting in that verse. Of course, this verse, the effect and the impact of this verse on a believer who has read this verse and read the Quran understands that the verse is meant to have a calming effect on the human being, and you're never meant to hurt your wife. You're never meant to hurt her in any way. And the other verse that deals with this issue in Surah Al-Baqarah says that you either live together in a loving and amicable relationship, or you depart, you separate beautifully. And the words of our Prophet ﷺ, where he said, the best of believers in faith is the one who has the best manners. And the best of you, meaning the best amongst those who have the best manners, is the one who is best to his wives. And I am the best to my wife. This is our Prophet ﷺ, this is our role model, and this is how we understand the verses of the Quran. And this is how we implement them in our daily lives. If some of you, or if you know someone who doesn't respect his wife, think of how you feel towards your mother who was a wife herself. Would you like to see someone disrespecting her? Think of the compassion you have towards your daughter or to your sister. And would you like to see somebody disrespecting her or mistreating her? None of us would. We are so protective of our mothers and our sisters and our daughters and our wives. And this is the way that we are as believers in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that feeling of protectiveness that feeling of love and compassion intensifies the closer we become to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The more we pray, the more we appeal to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the more that love and protectiveness intensifies, that we want to be the knight in shining armour for our wives and for our daughters and for our sisters and for our mothers and for our children. We will make every sacrifice for them. I will not rip out any page from my Quran or cross out any verse. Even if the whole world was to attack me, I will not rip out any page or cross out any word. And I know that each and every one of you is like this, inshaAllah. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to help us adhere more closely to His holy book, to always understand and appreciate that His wisdom is far greater than ours, and that His wisdom is the wisdom that will bring society, not just us as individuals, but the whole society, success and prosperity. My dear brothers, before I start the rest of the dua, the Imams, the National Imams Council, have issued a statement this week asking for the Khatibs to condemn violence and to condemn those violent groups such as ISIS, and to emphasize the peaceful nature of our beautiful religion. We know from what we've seen in the reports that most of the victims of ISIS have been Muslims. Most of them have been Sunni Muslims. That they disagree with something about them and they say, oh look, these Muslims are not good enough. It's as if they're serving a different agenda, serving somebody else. And 2 weeks ago, they have published a video calling for the murder of some of our Imams whom we know personally to be very hard working, looking after the youth in our community and looking after the interests of our community. When you see such a group calling for the murder of your Imams, whom you know have worked tirelessly to help this community, and you know this group is in the wrong, and that they deserve to be condemned, and that we don't accept any of their messages